I'm Fabian, and welcome to Salty Business, where I share stories, insights, and lessons from building a life of freedom near the ocean, creating a business around my wife's award-winning underwater photography, and my online coaching. Today, I'm going to share the story of how we went from surfing to scuba, and how a week of homelessness led us to a new life. Sometimes, a crisis forces you to pivot, to find a new path, a different solution. In the summer of 2021, we thought we had everything planned out, but an unexpected cancellation left us homeless and scrambling for a solution. Little did we know that this would change the whole trajectory of our life and lifestyle. Imagine planning out your summer months ahead, picking out the perfect place, just to have it ripped away from you 3 days before arrival. That's exactly what happened to us. And yet, this moment of chaos led us straight into something we never expected. Diving. It's 2021. We had just started our life without a steady home base in April of that year. So we had planned ahead diligently. Summer in Europe gets ridiculously expensive. So we had booked an apartment in Portugal more than half a year ahead just to secure a fair price. But as COVID restrictions eased that summer, prices skyrocketed even more. People had skipped vacations the year before, so they had extra money to spend. Meanwhile, those renting out vacation homes were desperate to make up for lost profits. Luckily, we had already locked in our place, or so we thought. 3 days before our arrival, we got a message from the owner. A water pipe just burst. The whole apartment is flooded. We have to cancel your booking. Maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't. Maybe they just wanted to take advantage of the situation that the COVID restrictions had eased and they could make 5 times more money with other guests. Let's just say we had a bad feeling about the apartment from the very start. And the owner, not the most pleasant communicator. Regardless, the outcome was the same. At the peak of high season, a year after COVID, we were suddenly homeless in the south of Spain. Everything was fully booked or ridiculously overpriced. And we were making little to no money. Going back to our home country, that would have felt like a shameful defeat after only a few months into our new life without a steady home base. So what now? At first the news was crushing, so we switched into soldier mode. Our name for the emotionless, purely logical, problem-solving state we rely on when things go sideways. But as we sat down and looked at our options, we realized this was also a chance to pivot and come up with something new. We spent an entire day trying to come up with a solution. Somewhere affordable, somewhere near the ocean, and somewhere that gave us a purpose. And that's when Sina suddenly said, let's just do a dive course. It wasn't a suggestion, it was a statement. A decision had been made. I barely even had processed it before I responded, heck yeah! And just like that, we had a plan. We still had time before heading to Croatia, so we drove to Galicia, in Spain's north. And for a full week, we lived in our tiny Citroën Berlingo, sleeping in the back, cooking in the trunk, showering from plastic bottles. I was teaching hunched over my laptop in the driver's seat. Sina was editing in the passenger seat. And we were both slowly marinating in the aroma of our own adventure. Despite the discomfort, we were happy. Surfing, sleeping illegally in the forest, waking up to the sound of waves. It was exactly what we had set out to do. To test ourselves, embrace challenges, and grow. So after that week, we drove across half of Europe to Germany to drop off our dog with my parents. After that, we drove across the other half of Europe to northern Croatia. We had booked our course online and started the day after my birthday. What a way to kick off a new year of life! At first, Sina hated it. After the first dive, she thought she wouldn't do another. After the second dive, she doubted she would come back the next day. It was overwhelming, handling the equipment, adjusting to the new environment, feeling the shift of time and space. And Sina had always had ear problems, so that was always in the back of her mind too. But now, Sina without diving, it's unthinkable. If that apartment in Portugal had worked out, we would have never gotten into diving. And if I think about that, again, that's unthinkable. It truly is like one of my favorite Bruce Lipton quotes. Crisis precipitates evolution. What felt like a disaster in 2021 turned out to be the potentially most important shift in our lives. Without it, we wouldn't have gotten into diving. We wouldn't have done our dive masters at UDC. Sina wouldn't have gotten into underwater photography. We never would have gotten to the Maldives. We never would have been diving with tiger sharks. And we never would have met all the people that make our lives blessed and us so happy. So have you ever had a cancelled apartment or flight or something like that led to a spontaneous travel adventure that you would not like to miss? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. And if you would like to hear more stories from our journey, check out my former videos and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.